I'm Wanda Meloni, and I am the CEO of M2 Advisory Group. I've been in the industry since the mid-90s. I started out actually in the film industry doing special effects, and what I really loved was the process of the film industry in terms of visual effects, and ended up in Silicon Valley working with some of the early animation companies and doing consulting and marketing consulting with a number of those early graphic companies. Then went on to be an analyst covering 3D graphics technologies and mapping out the markets for 3D graphics. So how was graphics being implemented in not just games, but film industry, military simulation, CAD visualization, and really the base for the technology was all the same. They're just different vertical markets that the technology and developers were using to create visual stories, visual reference points. And since that time, since the 90s, really have worked with a lot of companies from Adobe and Autodesk to Qualcomm and Intel to help map trends and where the industry is going. And a lot of the focus has really been in the game space just because the technology has been so voracious in the advancement, more than a lot of the other industries, which tend to be slower. I mean, the games industry has adopted technology faster than anyone. So from a trend standpoint, the games industry is always moving, and then 3D graphics, interactive entertainment, they sort of all take key from the games industry. So that's what makes the games industry so interesting and unique.
The PC Gaming Alliance has evolved into the Open Gaming Alliance. Can you talk a little about, from the perspective of how you've seen other platforms beyond PC gaming grow over recent years?
So yeah, the PC games space has definitely grown and will continue to grow through 2019. But we also see that mobile, tablet, interactive platforms, they are going to almost double by 2019. So we see tremendous growth in those areas.
What opportunities does that open up for game developers today, especially if they're using some of these platforms like a Unity or an Epic's Unreal that allows them to create games across platforms?
Well, I think what it allows a developer to have pretty much just creative control over the types of markets they want to get into, because each platform generally has specific markets, regions. Different platforms are stronger in different regions, and it really just gives them complete creative control to be able to have over 20 platforms in the case of what Unity's announced in terms of the support that they have. It's just opened it up to allow them to be creative and do their storytelling on any platform that they want to do.
So we've seen a lot of new opportunities open up for game developers today in the esports space. Can you talk a little about the growth in that area that you've seen over the years?
Yeah, well, the growth has been phenomenal, and I don't really see that dissipating anytime soon. I think we're going to see this global growth for esports, and what it means for developers is it gives them, again, another stage, another platform, which is really exciting. It's unique, and I think what we're getting where we're getting with esports is validating it as a sport, and I think once the general public understands it a little more, it really is going to be exciting to see how that progresses.
And again, touching on to the open platform aspect, we saw it start in PC. We've seen it migrate to expand to console, and now we're seeing a lot of mobile esports. So just talk a little about how that ties into the whole open nature of your organization.
Well, I think it fits in perfectly with the Open Gaming Alliance just because it is, again, another platform. We're really platform agnostic in terms of what we're trying to support. So esports, the fact that they're PC, console, and mobile makes perfect sense. And again, we just expect to see this continued growth in the space.
Video games are also very universal. Can you talk a little about how we're seeing new markets for these game developers today to tap into? We're seeing a lot of growth in Latin America, Southeast Asia, even Russia.
Yeah, well, and I think talent can come from anywhere. That's the great thing about indie developers, and they have a story to tell, and it can come from any region, any group, and I think what we want to see are just more diverse stories, more diverse teams, and part of the Open Gaming Alliance is to also build out support for diversity in terms of teams and content and growth opportunities. It really is a significant time in the industry to being able to support all of those.